Now I don't think it's as bad being a self-confessed nerd, the one who denies it. You can always throw yourself into a hobby hook, line and sinker, or just be sensible about things. I've never really done sensible, so I'm in or I'm out. Now when I retired I took up golf. I could have just bought a cheap set of clubs and played a few times a year, but oh no, I had to spend a fortune on state-of-the-art stuff. Buy an electric trolley that costs as much as some people's cars and join a golf club. Now I play 3 or 4 times a week, and despite that I'm still pretty crap, but I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed watches, even as a child, but my collection really started when I set myself a project of spending £500 and doubling my money. I managed this, but along the way I started to pick up a few watches of my own. I then learned about the ins and outs of watches, and before you know what, I'd become an out and out nerd. Someone who could bore the life out of someone else in seconds. Something I'm still pretty proud of. Anyway, this is only intended to be a short video, so I'm going to tell you how I log my watches, and perhaps you may want to do the same or something similar. Now I've got 4 spreadsheets that live in one file in my computer. Now you're looking at the first spreadsheet, which is a simple log of when my watches have been worn and when they're going to be worn. Now I wear them in pretty strict rotation, albeit if there's a particular reason a watch needs to be worn out of turn, I always accommodate it. Now you'll notice I wear my golf watch, Rolex Oyster Perpetual Mr Jones watch, where and when necessary. The different colours represent whether they live in the top tier, middle tier, bottom tier of my watch box or my safe. It's only my Rolex and Tudor that actually live in the safe, as they are insured separately for obvious reasons. The next spreadsheet is named Details. There are 13 columns. The first column is the name of the watch, the second the type of watch, i.e. diver, sport or dress, etc. The third is the case size, the fourth the lug width, the fifth the lug to lug, the sixth the depth, and the seventh the weight once adjusted to fit my wrist. The 8th is the movement, the 9th water resistance, 10th country of origin, 11 what I paid, 12 the full retail price, and finally the 13th column is the date of purchase. The third spreadsheet details the movement, and I list what movement it is, the beats per hour, power reserve and the lift angle. The last spreadsheet is the layout. The watches are grouped together as best as possible and in size order. Each tier tells a story. The top tier is all divers. The middle tier field watches, pilot watches and GMT watches. And the bottom layer is sports watches, dress watches, my one quartz watch and my golf watch. Now if I find a watch I want to buy, then I'll sell a watch from the tier that watch is going to live in. You will note that a picture of each watch lives in the cell below the watch's name. If I ever decide to change the box around, I always have to alter the spreadsheet. I do actually have one more spreadsheet that details when I've sold a watch and how much I paid for it. But I'm not actually showing you that one. But what I will tell you is that I lose money as often as I make it, and in general my balance stays quite neutral. Finally, there are my watch pictures. Now I take a photo of each watch 3 times. Once on the display stand, once laid flat, then one on the back of my wrist. Always in the same place with a coffee cup in the background. Now I appreciate that the majority of you are a lot more sane than me. You'll get up in the morning, have a look in your watch box, then put on the watch you fancy. Now let me tell you why I can't do that. Well, I already flip watches far too often, and if I didn't do what I do, I would be even worse. I know I would wear my favourite few watches all the time, meaning the others didn't get worn, and as a result I would stop appreciating them. I would also go off the ones I wore all the time, as I'm a great believer that familiarity breeds contempt. Now there's a small chance that I may have given you some ideas, but the odds are you just think I'm an out and out loony who needs locking up. So tell me what you think in the column below. Now that brings me to the end of this video. So if you've enjoyed it and you feel sorry for me, click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy the rest of your day.